podcast in which one man strives to level up his geekhood and helping you do the same, one battle at a time. Now, let's get geeky with Gamer Leaf.
Your dwarf clan has been chosen by King Grimsteel to mine the vast riches buried within Treasure Mountain. You must dig deep, keep your axes close, and beware of the pillaging dragons that inhabit the mountain in search of treasure.
Did that sound familiar to you guys? It didn't to me neither, but this is a story of Treasure Mountain, a new game on Kickstarter, and tonight we're lucky enough to have on the creator mastermind behind it, Daniel. Is that correct, Daniel? Is that how you fall into line with Treasure Mountain?
Well, I don't know if I would say mastermind, but I would say designer, sure. Yes.
Well, there you go. Thanks for joining us on Getting Geeky with Gamer Leaf. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here.
And should we call you Daniel or Dan, or what do you go by?
Anything you got to call me to get me a free beer. So what you can decide. I'm good.
Oh boy, there you go. Yeah, I don't drink myself, but there you go. So you heard it here first on Getting Geeky with Gamer Leaf, what to call Daniel or whatnot, so he can have his free beer or whatnot.
Yes.
There you go. So before we get into Treasure Mountain, which is probably the reason you're here, let's rewind a little bit if we could. We don't have to go back too far, of course, unless you were born into tabletop board gaming. But how did you get started into tabletop board gaming, Daniel, and playing in games and whatnot?
Well, I mean, obviously as a kid, we all play games. But I would say where my love of tabletop gaming was in 1981, I think I was in 8th grade. I kind of moved to a new town, met a group of friends. We all got into Dungeons and Dragons. So we played D&D a lot, all through junior high and high school. And I think that because I GM'd so much, that I learned to create experiences by creating my own adventures. And at that point, I got into some Avalon Hill games, Panzer Blitz, Panzer Leader, Advanced Squad Leader, Tactics 2, Speed Circuit, all those kind of games like that. So that's how I got into it. And I have been designing games for myself and my friends ever since. And now today for everybody else.
That's pretty cool. Besides Treasure Mountain, because if I let you pick your own game, my audience might have me drug out in the street and have me hanged if I let you pick your own game. So besides that, at the current time, do you have a favorite game?
That's a great question. I love games. I buy a lot of games. I would say that games that I particularly like right now, a Feudum, which just came out, which is on Kickstarter now. It's in stores right now, which is great. It's heavy, but I really enjoy it. It's a little bit, it's a deeper game. Great Western Trail, I'm sure you've heard of that. Gloomhaven. I also really, really like Orleans. My wife and I play that on a regular basis. We play quite a bit of games. So yeah, I would say, I don't have a favorite designer per se. I have a large collection of games, but those are the games I think I've been really into most recently.
Okay, well, I'm going to be selfish a little bit because we did get Gloomhaven, the second edition, and we've yet to get it to the table or whatnot. It's kind of hard to get games to the table or whatnot here around our house. But I'm going to be selfish and ask you, so for anybody else who may have heard about it or not heard about it or not played it yet, what can you tell us about Gloomhaven? Besides the big box, of course.
It is the biggest game I've ever bought. It's literally, you could fit a small child in the box. So Gloomhaven is a legacy game that takes place in a fantasy world where players take the role. There's 6 starting classes. You're like different, but it's not like kind of it's a different kind of a world. It's not like something we've seen in other high fantasy games before, where there's a story. There's a town of Gloomhaven, and there's a story, and you're playing through a series of dungeon crawls. I would think that the thing that I really enjoy about the game, it is very Euro. It's very meaty. It's a people. The negative part about it is that people who have AAP are going to have a hard time with it.
Uh-oh, that's not good for me, because I hear I suffer from analysis paralysis. That's what you're talking about, isn't it?
Well, yeah. But here's the thing. I think with practice, your deck's going to get better and better. But then you're given an entire deck of cards. I think it's 12 for the race, the class that I play. each card has 2 actions on it. You have to pick two cards to play that turn. Then decide top action on one card, bottom action on the other. There's a lot of decision making going on and a lot of crunching, and you're not supposed to kind of communicate with your players exactly what you're doing. But that being said, mechanically, it's elegant. It's really fun. You feel like there's a lot of interesting choices. And it's expensive. I think it's tough to actually even get right now. If you can't get, it's probably one of my favorite dungeon crawls. And if you can't get that, then pick up Feudum, because Feudum is also amazing.
Well, there you go. There you go. You heard it here on Getting Geeky with Gamer Life. A new question that we started to ask people due to one of my fans. He said it would be cool to hear from designers' perspectives. If you owned the rights to that or had any kind of say to what would be one thing you would do to change Gloomhaven as a designer, what would be one thing you would do to it?
I think Gloomhaven's a little bit too big. I can't believe I'm saying this. The problem is I think there's 96 scenarios in the box. You don't have to play every single one. It's too big. And, and my wife and I enjoy legacy games. So I have a Pandemic Season 2 and Charterstone waiting behind it. And I'm worried that I might be 75 years old by the time I get a chance to actually play those other games. But here's the thing about Gloomhaven that I didn't mention before that's good is that players can come in and out. You can stop it, and I don't feel like it's not going to change, it's not going to be a bad thing, but it's a little bit too big.
Well, there you go. Yeah, for sure. So that's awesome. So you heard it here, what Daniel would do make it a little bit smaller maybe and have expansions. I don't know. But yeah, it is a pretty big game. I can't wait till we can get it to the table. But there's so many games out there. I don't know if you have this problem, but my wife likes to collect games. Before it was books, before we found out about Kindle and whatnot. But then she got into games and we started collecting them. So there's a lot. I think people call it the shelf of shame. Recently, I heard somebody else call it a shelf of opportunity because you have the opportunity to get these games to the table.
Well, I will say this. I have a lot of games, and I purged my collection 25% 2 years ago, and now it's above that what it was again. I typically used to pride myself on not having unplayed games. I can't say that any longer. I have, and just in this one room, right? Because I have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 unplayed games in this room, which is horrible, actually.
So it's cool. Yeah, for sure. I hate to tell you how many we have. It's more than 7 for sure. So I know it's way past January when people usually have resolutions or whatnot. But in the year 2018, is there anything from your shelf of opportunity you'd like to get to the table?
That's a great question. So, what of the games that I have not? I mean, obviously, a lot of those are like, the Pandemic Legacy Season 2, Charterstone, Warhammer Quest. They're all games that kind of have to go behind Gloomhaven.
Yeah, you said you're going to be about 76 or 96. I forget how old you were going to be when you played those.
At least. I have to break it a little sooner. I would say the game that I'm most interested in playing on all those is probably Charterstone. And I may just break it out and do it. We talked about actually forming a secondary group and just start that game. But yeah, probably, I'm really into legacy games. I'm actually designing one right now, and I'm fascinated by it.
Cool, that's awesome. Yeah, I kind of like the novel idea. I have yet to play one, but I know people keep talking about Risk Legacy. I'm a big fan of Risk. Actually, the interview I did last night, it's the first time it's happened in my I want to say this is since I started doing this, it'll be middle of next month. It'll be a year I've been doing this, and you're like close to. I think I'm almost got over 130 interviews in that time frame. And the first thing, a new thing happened to me last night. The first time somebody I interviewed actually convinced me. Well, I don't think he was trying, but he convinced me to get a game that was not his game. We actually ordered it, and Amazon delivered it today. It is Risk 2210. So,
I actually enjoy that game. Yeah, in fact, that's an older game. I have that I have different rooms in my house. I have my office here, which has the tier 1 games. Tier 2 is my garage. So that's a tier 2 for me, but it's out there. Yeah, it's fun. And the pieces are great.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I'm excited. It looks like my wife said, I think we got to get baggies because there's a lot of pieces or whatnot. We got to get baggies or something to hold them in. Otherwise, it's going to be kind of a mess. But
I'm big on reboxing games. Big on it. Plano boxes.
There you go. There you go. Cool. So what about these tiers? Are tier 2 ones that you have played, but or what is going on with your tiers? What is that all about?
Well, it's really about physical space. I don't think I could fit everything. My entire garage is lined with shelves full of games and D&D stuff, and I don't think it could physically fit in the house. I would say that no, maybe it's the games that are my favorites tend to be in this room, or games that I play most often with my family are in this room. I have some games out in the garage that are amazing. It's not saying the games are bad. It's just I don't get them to the table as often, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
And then eventually have to retire games and they go out there. My garage is almost full again, so I don't know what I'm going to do. Start stacking them on chairs, I guess.
Oh boy! And just to add another game to your collection, from the seams of it, the word on the street is you have a new game on Kickstarter. What can you tell us about Treasure Mountain, Daniel?
Yeah, Treasure Mountain. So Treasure Mountain is currently on Kickstarter. We're already funded. I think we funded by the morning of the second day. It is a dwarf mining game where every player is the leader of a dwarf clan, trying to mine as many gems out of a mountain as possible. Unfortunately, that mountain is also full of angry dragons. So it's a worker placement game that's got kind of a bumping mechanism based on the size of a dwarf's beard. If your beard is longer than another dwarf, you can bump them out of a spot and take that action. But the dwarf that was bumped then gets to take another action. If you go to our Kickstarter page, we have 5 different playthroughs. We have John Gets Games, Rado, Undead Viking, Man versus Meeple. There's a couple other people out there that all have done run-throughs. You can look specifically. The game's a lot of fun. The game is 7 years old. We've spent the last few years deciding that we should just go ahead and publish it, and we've had a lot of success with it.
Oh, wow. Yeah, looking at this, I didn't even think of that. That didn't cross my mind. My wife, she told me, she was going on and on about some game. She didn't want to tell me because she worried about we might end up backing it or whatnot. But she said I'd like it. And I didn't even think to say it might have been your game or whatnot, because you talk of dragons. She says, yeah, games are always good with dragons. And then I really like the whole beard aspect. I remember listening to Tantrum House. I don't know if it was this last Monday or the one previous, but they talked about where the size of the beard actually affects the things. I thought that was a cool thing.
Yeah, I'm actually I'll be on their show. I think I was already recorded that show. I'll be on, I think, next week. I don't know when the show's going to be on, but yeah, the thing that's really fun about the game is that my frustration with some worker placement games, and this is a medium to light level, there's an optional expansion you can add on the Kickstarter campaign that brings it up to more of a solid medium. Anyway, one of my frustrations I always had was I don't like worker placement games that you block spots. It drives me insane. Like, I like Lords of Waterdeep, but I feel like being last is such a disadvantage, and you need something, and there's a frustration level. What I like about this game is it's not more about blocking. It's about you want to get bumped, because the more you get bumped, the more extra actions you get to take. So there's a little bit of a tactical decision when you're starting your turn, and everybody has to place all their smallest beards first to largest beard. So this kind of this cascading bumping, and everybody ends up sliding around throughout the turn. Is, sometimes you put your dwarf in a space you want to claim right away, or do you put it on a space that you're more likely that your opponent wants, so you get bumped and you get extra actions, because every space gives you something. And some spaces will give everybody something. And that high level of player interaction is, in my opinion, the thing that makes the game very fun to play.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. So, per se, me and you were to sit down to play this, Daniel, how would that look? I mean, what would it sound? What would it sound like? This is a podcast, after all.
You mean what is how would you describe the board? How it looks, or how?
Or how do we play? Like, what would our turns look like, I guess?
What you are given a certain number of dwarves based on the number of players. So, for example, in a 4-player game, the game plays 2 to 4 players. With the optional expansion, you can actually play one solo also. You'll be assigned 3 dwarves, numbered 1, 2, and 3. They're all going to be in these beds in the tavern. They've had a long night of drinking. And during your turn, in turn order, you're going to place your one dwarf, has a 1 on it, represent the smallest beard, and you're going to place it on a location. So these locations are all about mining. You're going to have a mine tiles in front of you. You're going to connect tiles, seed them with gems. You're going to collect beer. You're getting axes. You're getting gold. I mean, that's literally, it's about the dwarfest thing you could possibly do, because literally the resources in the game are axes, beer, gold, right, and gems. You can't get more dwarfy than that. So then, yeah, you're going to be placing your round. Now, the dragon aspect, since you asked about it earlier, there are certain spaces on the board that I think are the juiciest spaces. They're just amazing. Like the fastest way to get many of the resources you require when you're building out your mine. The problem is that every time you go to those spaces, you roll a die, and there's a chance that you move the dragon up in an aggression track, which represents it sleeping, right? When you wake that dragon up, it attacks everybody. So it's like a little bit of a pressure luck moment where you're like, look, I can just get all the beer I need right now really quick. Do I risk going there and running my beer wagons by the dragon cave? Do I do that? And if you know, and the other players will be probably jeering at you not to do that, because you don't want to have they're not maybe as prepared to fight the dragons. So yeah, so does that kind of make sense? And then, that's you rinse and repeat. I mean, I would say, if I had to summarize again, worker placement, kind of a tile laying game, and this kind of a pressure luck mechanism.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and I know we talked about it with the Gloomhaven and whatnot. With me suffering from analysis paralysis, is there a lot of stuff for me to choose to do on my turn, or is my wife going to hate me more if we sit down to play this together?
Oh, it's fat. It's not at all. My wife is the highest level of analysis paralysis of any gamer I've ever played with. And granted, she's played quite a few games, but no, I played this game with a lot of beginner gamers. I played this game with 8-year-olds. Not a problem, because every space is good, right? It's just, not to use improper English, which spaces one space might be gooder than other spaces. Use that.
My wife will.
Right.
If she heard this, she'd run us out on the street. She always gets mad about grammar and stuff.
I know, we don't use the word gooder. I do that. Just my mom was an English teacher. She just kind of just screamed out the window. But I don't think it has. I mean, the fun part of the game, I guess the only analysis paralysis point would be deciding, do I want to put my dwarf in a spot I want right away, or a spot I'm more likely to get bumped in? There's 12 spaces on the board, not counting the spaces for the tavern. Turn order is recomputed by the order of which the doors are turned back to the tavern. So there's always an element too. You can always have control of your own turn order for the following round. But no, it doesn't. I have not seen. Obviously some players are slower than others, but it's pretty fast. There's always options. It's just creating those combinations is where you really get good at the game.
Okay, awesome. And I know you said you're probably a tad bit biased or whatnot. You talked about people doing playthroughs and whatnot, but are there other people that have reviewed the game so they don't have to necessarily take your word for it that it's a good game?
Absolutely. Undead Viking said it's one of the best games he's played all year. I mean, that's a good quote. Rado really enjoyed it. Here's what most of the people say. It's fun. It's bottom line. It's really fun to play. It's medium light. It's not heavy, and there's a lot of games out there that I think forget about fun and focus on just wanting to be clever. And sometimes fun is better than just being clever. And it is just really fun to play. Is it the most unique? Is it going to change the industry? No. But is it fun? Yeah. Geek Dad, there's a written review up there as well. He really, really, really loved it as well. He thought it was probably one of the best gateway worker placement games that he's played in a while. Again, all this is on our Kickstarter page. But yeah, I mean, let me say this, is that, myself and my friends, we kind of do these projects together. We would never ever publish a game that we didn't feel like we would back ourselves. That's kind of our motto, is that, is this going to make this the kind of game that we want to back? And I back a lot of Kickstarters. Between my friends and I, oh my God, we hundreds and hundreds, you know what I mean? And it's important to us to really exceed the expectations of what our backers want. And I think that shows in our campaign.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, for sure. So it looks like there's 419 backers that have backed this. So what is that? Minus you and your friends. So about 400, or how many do you think aren't your friends, maybe?
Well, well, every backer is my friend, but I would say this. Well, we did a campaign last year called Dragon Brew, which is about sold out, which is a fantasy beer brewing game. I would say about 25% of those are Dragon Brew backers. And friends and family, it's hard. I mean, obviously you try to get your friends to back it, but it's not, yeah, that's a great question. Actually, I should actually look through and see how many are strangers. I'm really good about. I have a good memory for names, and I would say the opening day, yeah, a lot of people are friends. Now, like the people that backed today, there's only one person I knew. Of the 20 something people that backed today, last 24 hours, it's just, yeah. I think that we do advertising, obviously. And like I said, our goal is to create the best game we can, and I hope that people who visit our Kickstarter page see that. And our backers have been very happy with our previous campaigns as well.
Well, you said they're your friends now. I know when I was growing up, they always talked about stranger danger, but I guess we don't have to worry about that now.
Ah, well, I don't know if they're there to purchase my game. I'm totally good with that.
Now, I don't know that I'm going crazy or whatnot, but I think we talked about it beforehand, and I know I want to say I saw it before, but this isn't the first launch, is it?
Yeah, so back in February 4th, we launched it, and I think we made some mistakes. So, and there was a couple. Number one, the market conditions for that month were insane. We had the Batman game, we had the Dinosaur Island reprint. It literally just sucked the air out of the room. The dollars were incredible. I think both those campaigns did almost. I think Batman did $3.5 million. Dinosaur Island did almost three mil. There's just a lot of campaigns. I know a lot of people that month who actually started who all canceled. We also felt like we didn't do enough pre-marketing. We've been focusing so much on the game that we kind of didn't really do the level of pre-marketing that we really should have done. So this is what we did. And that's a difficult decision. We would have funded. It's not a matter of we wouldn't have funded. We would have funded. We would not have funded a level that we felt that we had the stretch goals that we wanted to unlock. So we canceled it, which was very, very difficult 1 week before the close. And we were guaranteed.
Well, even before, like I was talking to Sky Carlisle, who runs board game websites, just the other day, and he goes on. I forget what the website is. I got to ask him again. But this year is the most games that have been launched on Kickstarter like ever. So it's like crazy, just from January on, like even May. Usually it's just like January, February, March, but it's continuing to run over.
Yes, it's very, very competitive. So what we decided to do was we asked every one of our backers, what would you like to see changed in this game, or what do you think we didn't do right? The two things that we heard, aside from not having enough playthrough videos, which we have a lot now this time, was one, I have an expansion that I was working on at that time that I was not going to have ready until the fall. People wanted that expansion, and it adds magic to the game, a 5th gem type, solo play, little things like that. That was the number one thing that everyone wanted to have. So we got that done. I spent 3 months just pushing the final testing on it. I was going to take my time. It takes 6 months to do it. It's worked out great. We got the art, everything was already done, so that was not the problem. The other thing, as I mentioned earlier, was solo play. People really, I underestimated the amount of solo players that are out there. I don't play a lot of solo games myself, but I've built automas in other games, and I have other designs I'm working on right now. I added an automa for the game. It's great. Love it. Actually, I really enjoy it. It's aside from Mage Knight, which I also really love, it's a great solo game. I really enjoyed playing this game solo. So that's what we kind of did. We regrouped. We got a lot more videos. We, like I said, we funded by the 33 hours, I think.
Yeah, it says less than 33 hours on your picture up.
And it just was right. We just did everything right. We revamped the page. We took better photographs of the game. A lot of people wanted to see more of the art. So yeah, we just we just kind of shut off the game a little bit better. Like I said, we're game designers. We're not necessarily marketers. Maybe we are now. I don't know. It seems to be going well.
So I know you talked about the expansion and whatnot. Marketing wise, what did you do different? Because I get a lot of like I said, I get a lot of designers that have games and listen to the podcast. But what did you do different marketing wise? Or
Well, I would say overall, number one, get the games into as many hands as possible. I think I sent out to build a prototype Treasure Mountain, and that's using Game Crafter, Meeple Source, Print and Play Productions, and myself. It cost about $120 for each set. We made 22 sets, so that's you can do math there. We spent quite a bit of money on set and sending them out to reviewers, to play test groups, to conventions. I would have sent one to you if I had one. They're gone. They're all out there in the world. In fact, I have only one set for myself here.
I hope it's in the room. I hope it's not on tier 2.
It's tier 1 right here, right next to me. But yeah, I would say that get your game out there as much as possible. 2 is get playthrough videos done. And some of the playthrough videos were paid. We pay them. Some people did not. Depends. Obviously people with lots and lots of viewers obviously know that they can charge, and that's fine. I have no issue paying for that because I think it's good, great. I'm all for supporting, those YouTube channels and reviewers and such.
Did the Game Boy Geek do a playthrough of it? I love his like rule schools and stuff. I hate reading rules.
He did. Yeah, he did. In fact, the Game Boy Geek and Rado were the only people who originally did it. And we since added Man vs. Meeple, John Gets Games, Tantrum House, I think. And those are the video. And then Undead Viking. And then Viking just was not available at that time, I think. So he didn't do it. But he gave me he probably gave us the best review we've ever gotten. He loved it. And I knew it was the kind of game that he would like. Just know, you know what I mean? Like that kind of fun game. Again, he gave me a lot of high praise personally, which it feels good. It feels good to build something that you love and see other people love it also.
Cool. Yeah, that's awesome. So the moral of the story is get your game out to a lot of people so they can show their audiences or try it or something.
Yeah, and try to make your Kickstarter. It's funny because Kickstarter originally, amateur pages were out there and they did fine. Now the bar is so high for a Kickstarter page looking good, you can't kind of half-ass it anymore. You've got to have a page that looks good.
Yeah, no, I want to say, I won't say the name of the campaign, but when a game launched this last Friday or whatnot, and I spent like 45 minutes just doing a back and forth conversation this last Friday afternoon, back and forth with the guy and what he could possibly do to fix it and help him, so hopefully he can fund or whatnot.
Yeah, it's I do my own graphic art, so that saves me quite a bit of money. I'm not a professional graphic artist. I've made so many games over the years and prototyping. I've used Corel Draw for like 12 years now, and I'm just pretty, okay at it. That saves us quite a bit. We also, one thing I would suggest to people who are gamers, and it's a little bit of a risk, have all your art done. I had the art done for Treasure Mountain done in the fall. It was done. Everything was all set. And when you have all those art elements, it just makes it look good. And the art, I don't know if you've seen the cover to Treasure Mountain. It's beautiful. The art is amazing in the game. The board is beautiful. The board reminds me of Where's Waldo, because there's all these little tunnels and you see little dwarves around laying tracks and drinking beer. And when you're laying your mine tiles out, the tracks connect together. And it's like, you kind of look and see what are all the different dwarves doing. It's fun. Getting art out there and looking professional and polished, like I said, I don't do this for a living. My wife and I have a regular job like everybody else. But I think you need to present yourselves as competent, because Kickstarter is a risk. There's nothing that says that when you back a Kickstarter, they have to deliver the game. We've all heard those horror stories.
Yeah, it says specifically, this is Kickstarter is not a store.
Yeah, they don't want to have to start having that sales tax problem. But yeah, that's right. It's not a store, and people treat it as a store. And I in a way, we treat it as a pre-sale. and we take that responsibility very, very seriously. And we, like I said, our camp, this is our second successful campaign. We exceeded the expectations and promises of our last campaign because like I said, I've backed many Kickstarters, but only got burned once, and that was on Ghost Love Candy. But then Steve Jackson Games picked it up and fulfilled for everybody, which I thought was really, really great. There's only one game I did not like, and I don't want to say that because I don't want to slam anybody, that I did not like. Every other Kickstarter that I've gotten has been what I expected or better. And to me, as long as the game is fun, and I've been really, really happy with the games that I've backed, and I've backed quite a bit. I think I've backed this year more than I've ever backed, which is maybe I'm part of my own problem. I backed a lot.
So are you gonna have the problem? I know you talked about Batman and whatnot. The ones that we had troubles with, we almost got Batman, but I think I ended up backing out of it because I'm not sure why entirely. But the ones I'm excited about, they just barely closed down shop or whatnot, were Street Fighter and Fireball Island. Are those on your list?
So JR Honeycutt. Yeah, I know JR and doing Fireball Island. Yeah, so I didn't get the Street Fighter game. Let me say this: I did back Batman because I backed Conan, their old project, and it's built on the same engine, and it's brilliant. I love the engine that Conan is built on. I got to give them a lot of credit. The first rule book that they released with the game was crap. Horrible. They actually they redid the rule book and sent everybody another rule book. I mean, to me, I feel like you could judge a company by not whether or not they make mistakes, because mistakes happen, is how well they handle them. I was pretty impressed with that. Batman's built on the same system with the kind of allocation of energy. I love it. So I backed Batman 100. I bought everything. I think I might have been $400 and something dollars worth of stuff. I did everything. I did, and I just did the Zombicide one, the space theme one. I can't resist, certain genres, and that's one that really appeals to me. What other games have I backed? I backed a lot of small ones. There's one about the Russian, kind of the fight for control in Russian. I forgot the name of the game. I backed a project on an artisanal beef jerky, like this artisan beef jerky. These guys make these high-end beef jerkies. I thought it was interesting. Why not? You know what I mean? So
not just games for you.
Yeah, no, I'll do all kinds. I'll do anything that suits my fancy. In fact, I actually reached out. He and I did. I do a lot of link exchanges. Like I'll mention his Kickstarter, my campaign. He'll mention mine and his. We did that because this product looked great, and I wish I remembered the name.
Who's that? The jerky guy, or who's that?
Yeah, he was the beef jerky guy. I think it's Two Coyote or Two Wolf Coyote. I forgot what the name of it. It's on Kickstarter now. I could probably find it, but I mean, there's a lot of big games. I mean, I backed the reprint of Dinosaur Island because the game looks great. It's a theme. Themes are what really sell me on games, but I also am cautious about a lot of IP games and Street Fighter and things like that. I get cautious if they don't present the rule books. I don't know if Street Fighter had the rule book or not.
Yeah, I don't know. Mainly my hang up was the nostalgia. I loved playing Street Fighter when I was a kid. Actually, we were in Barnes and Noble the other day, and there was a Street Fighter novel, so I naturally had to pick it up.
Yeah, I played a lot of Zangief, right? That was like my favorite. That was my guy when I used to play. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot. I guess I'm, the one thing about Kickstarter seems to be changing. There's a lot of projects out there, but there's a lot of bigger players in Kickstarter. Like Jamie Stegmaier has left, right? He did after Scythe, he moved on, and now he's no longer in Kickstarter. I would hope that maybe some of these larger firms do the same thing and let Kickstarter be what it's supposed to be, is smaller companies to kind of grow and build something and go from there, right? Kickstarter, right? It's about kickstarting a company.
For sure, yeah. I recently had Jamie on the show and interviewed him, and he talked about it, I guess, because he's a one-man show or whatnot. So that's part of the reason he left. Otherwise, he was going to have to hire some more people or something, do something, figure it out.
Yeah. Jamie's an awesome guy who really is a big supporter of other publishers. So a lot of the information that he shares has been really invaluable to me. And I like his designs quite a bit. Scythe is a game that I originally did not like, which is funny, and now I love it because I think I just didn't quite. I expected those giant robots to fight. I guess that's where it is. This is where the theme and mechanics were out of sync for me. And I was like, oh, I want to fight with these robots. They have guns and everything, and there's not a lot of fighting in the game. Once I got over that and saw it was just a Euro engine builder, then I fell in love with it.
Well, there you go. Cool. That's awesome. Yeah. One of my favorite podcasts, We're Not Wizards with Richard Simpson. I kind of have it's in my mind. I kind of have a little bit of competition going on with him in my mind. As I just realized that we're only he has 175 episodes out. We have 173 episodes out at the time of this recording or whatnot. And so lately he's been talking to all of his guests and asking them if they should revamp Kickstarter, or at least do something so to help the little guy out, or I don't know what they'll end up doing. But your thoughts on that? You think they should do something to kind of distinguish between the two or whatnot?
Well, I mean, there's things like Indiegogo out there. I think I am a big fan of market forces. I feel like the market kind of self-adjusts itself. If there truly is a gap out there and a demand for kind of a small publisher environment, I think the market will create it. That sounds very capitalistic of me, but it's true. I think it happens. And I think there's still plenty of money out there. I mean, sure, I would have loved to do $1 million with my game, but I know that I'm fine with just the games that I have, and obviously those games that are getting $3.5 million, Fireball Island did $3 million, right?
I want to say, yeah, I think somewhere around there probably.
That's kind of an economic vote for what they're doing is what people want, right?
For sure, but you still got at the time of this recording, you still got 27 days to hit that million mark, maybe.
It's all about you, man. This podcast is going to push it over the top.
There you go. You heard it here first on Getting Geeky with Gamer Life. Everybody who's listening right now, go ahead and click that back button. Even if you don't only have a buck to throw at it, that'll show all your friends, and they'll be able to be led here, and we can go ahead and help the Treasure Mountain become the next $1 million Kickstarter.
Yeah, that would be great. But like I said, so anyway, to go back to the Kickstarter thing, so I feel like the market adjusts itself, and I'm a big fan of Kickstarter. I think the biggest changes will be probably regulation.
Yeah, for sure.
Just the sales tax thing has got to change.
There you go. Yeah, for sure. So now going back to what we initially come here for, per se somebody's fallen asleep. It wouldn't, or did we already? I didn't say that. Yeah, I don't think so. Per se somebody's fallen asleep. It wouldn't be because of you or your game. Or did I do that already?
I don't remember. No, I don't remember what we're talking about.
I have a bad memory, and I already interviewed a couple people today, so sorry about that. So yeah, per se somebody's falling asleep. It wouldn't be because of you or your game or anything like that. It'd be because of me and my podcast, like I keep on saying. At the time of this recording, we're at the first part of May, and we've already dropped 73 episodes for the year. And so they get tired of hearing me drone on and on. And so now they're suddenly jolted awake so they don't run off that mountain, or they don't crash in the mine or whatnot. And so you have their full attention, Daniel. Why should they take a chance on Treasure Mountain, especially with all the other great games that are on Kickstarter currently?
That's a great question. Well, I would just say this is that people who know me, granted these people do not know me, I have a commitment to creating the best possible games. My game designs are all about fun. When you say take a chance, I mean, I guess the chance would be you would back my game and miss another opportunity. There are a lot of good games out there. I mean, there's so many great projects. I back a lot of games. But I think that what I think makes Treasure Mountain unique and maybe something that you might want to try is that bumping mechanic, that balance, the fast pace, high levels of play interaction, but in kind of a Euro wrapper with a little bit of kind of an American style die rolling. It's a mixture. It's not one particular thing. The one thing that I think that Undead Vikings said about the game is that it was just fun, and he felt like while he played the game, the theme and the mechanics mixed, and it felt like he was doing something. And to me, that's where fun is. When you're playing a game and you feel like, and you're connecting the dots and you're being clever and you're doing something, I think that's where the fun is. Yeah, I mean, I would say this. Look at the videos on our campaign. I have the rule book out there. We're very transparent. I show the proof sheets. I just feel like being as open and as honest with I can. Like, for example, when we added the expansion, which is $20 more, we had no idea what percentage of our backers would get that expansion. We thought, oh, maybe, if we're lucky, half. Well, 88% of our backers have gotten that expansion, which was shocking to us, which is good. I think to us, it's a testament to how good that expansion is. So because of that, I built a financial model. It kind of shifted our model, and I was able to lower all the stretch goals, which blew a lot of folks' minds. They're like, "Why would you lower the stretch goals?" I'm like, because there's extra margin. We should pass that on. I want to give everybody the best game that they can possibly have, and we ourselves are selfish in the fact that we want the best bits in this game as possible. Like anybody who backs it, we're going to play this game too. And we want cool shaped beer barrels, and we want thicker tiles, and we want metal coins, and those are the things that we want also. So in a way, maybe we're just making the game that we want to play.
Well, there you go. So that's awesome. And let's see here. Per se, like maybe they've woken up for sure, so they heard all that, but they get tired of my podcast and they want to hear you somewhere else. Are you on any other podcast, Daniel, talking about Treasure Mountain?
I think probably the bigger ones are Monday. I'm on Tantrum House. And they actually did a review of the game. They really, really loved it. In fact, I personally had some conversations with them via Skype. They were pretty impressed by the game. So I go on their show. It's a 10-minute segment. Dragon's Demise, which is funny. They just did a review right now of my game I released last year called Dragon Brew, and they just loved it. So I sent them a copy of Treasure Mountain. They're very nice guys. We had a pretty long conversation about game design, and I want to say that my wife has co-design credits on this game. When though the game was almost already done when we actually were first dating, I think she contributed so much to making the game better that I decided that it made sense to put her name on the game. So we talked a little bit about designing with a spouse. Across the Board, that's another podcast I'm on. I think that is, and your show, of course. I mean, I saved the best for last.
Cool, that's awesome. So go ahead and check out those podcasts. If you get me the links over, I'll make sure I put those in the show notes in case they, for some reason, don't want to listen to you talk to me. They can listen to you talk to other people at least.
Oh, why would they want to listen to us? This is great. This is like two guys sitting around having a beer in a cafe, talking about what they love. Games. So let me ask you, what is your favorite game?
Oh boy, people haven't put me on the spot for a long time. Let's see here. Well, the game that I fell in love with that kind of got me into board gaming, like it is now. Before this, I collected Uno games, but then 2 years ago, it'd be 3 years ago this holiday season, I watched Rodney Smith. Played. He was playing Blood Rage, and so me and my son, he'll be 10 in September, but we sat down and played Blood Rage, and it was like Christmas playing that together. But favorite game, currently, I don't know.
I love it. This is time to ask the interviewer. Put the shoe on the other foot.
For sure. Well, that's a hard question. Unfortunately, we're not able to get a lot of stuff to the table just due to how many interviews I end up doing and with my big family and whatnot.
I totally get it. Well, it's Blood Rage is a fine answer. My wife loves that game. Actually, that's a game I don't own. There are certain games, and it's ridiculous, that I don't own because it's just not it's not something that I don't buy a lot of games that I know you can play with 2-player. I don't think it plays as good with 2 players. I don't buy a lot of games you can't play with 2.
Yeah, I don't know. My wife, I think she ended up picking it up just because she likes games or whatnot. I didn't realize. I've only ever played it the 2 players. I think maybe I played it with her a long time ago and then played with him. But yeah, I like that. But favorite game, I don't know if that counts because I don't know what my current favorite game is. I'd have to say Risk, even though it's been forever since I played that as well. I like the original Risk or whatnot.
No, Risk is great. I don't think Risk gets enough credit. That was probably my first area control game. We had some very fond memories of hunkering down in Mongolia and And what is the Australia? That's like the spot you would just put all your guys on, right? And at that choke point. Well, I'm hoping that maybe you and your wife should back Treasure Mountain, and then Treasure Mountain might be your new favorite game.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and go tell her. I think after we get done talking, I'm wondering if that's the game that she wouldn't tell me about, that she wanted to back, that she wanted, wouldn't tell me because she worried about I'd want to back up for her, and then yeah. So I'm wondering if that's the game she was trying to say. But yeah, I was about to say my 15-year-old. I don't know how he does it, but every time he'll go straight for Asia and end up beating me.
7 points. I believe Asia's what, 7 points a round or whatever. 7 points every time. Asia's hard to hold. I mean, like I said, that game and Axis and Allies were the games that I played probably in high school the most. Played those games. I have a lot of really fun memories of my old buddies and old D&D guys. I mean, we played, like I said, we played the heck out of Risk. I have no issue. The one thing about board gaming, and I guess I'm guilty of it, is the cult of the new, right? Everybody wants to play what's always new, you know what I mean? And, one thing I like about board games is, aside, let's say it's one that has an electronic component like XCOM, 20 years from now, you can open up that box and play that game. It's not like a video game you're not going to be able to play in the future. It's always going to be relevant. I have a lot of games that I have that are 30 years old, and I still pull them out and I play them. To me, that's what makes board gaming great, and the fact that you don't need electricity, you don't, you know what I mean? I guess you need light, but that you just have this experience and you can have friends and sit around a table. And I love the video games as well. I do. I'm not anti-video game, but there's something about sitting down around a table with your friends in something that's more of like a primitive medium, if that makes sense, where it's just paper and wood and metal and plastic. It's great. I love it.
For sure. Well, going on with your part about video games, the next portion of our podcast is actually called Adventures in Application Acquisition, where we talk about an app, be it for a cell phone, a computer, a video game, or even a tablet. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be related to tabletop board gaming or mining or beards or beer or anything like that. Is there an app you use a lot of that we can talk about for a moment, Daniel?
I use, as far as like on my cell phone?
Regardless, it can be cell phone, a video game, for a tablet, even a computer app, just an app you use a lot of.
Well, aside from Corel Draw and Ride My Games, I love Overwatch, the video game Overwatch, Blizzard. I just love it. I know there's something.
What can you tell us about it?
So everybody knows who Blizzard is. They do World of Warcraft, and they've been doing it a long time. So my son is 16 years old. He likes video games more than board games. He does play board games. He's very good at board games, by the way. At 12, he would beat adults all the time. He's very, very smart. But the thing about Overwatch that I really enjoy, it's how would I best describe it? I would best describe it as a game that's like superheroes, since there's a bunch of different characters. That's kind of it's usually like a capture the flag kind of thing, or an escort mission where there's like one character's a giant gorilla with a Tesla cannon, and you got like this French sniper, you have a Chinese girl that shoots ice, and so everybody, it's kind of a rock paper scissor thing, that certain characters are better at countering others. It's an online game. You can only play with other players. I actually have a professional league, which we've gone a few of those of the matches. It's something that I can play with my son and his friends, and I'm actually not really bad at it, and I'm pretty good at it, actually. That's great. I mean, it's great. It's a great game. And I play it on the PC. We have a PlayStation 4 we play it on as well, but it's particularly shines on that. And the fact, again, it's something that's more social, and I don't play for long periods of time too. That's the only thing about World of Warcraft. Put a lot of time in World of Warcraft. This game, short. You can play for a half hour and you're done.
There you go. Cool. So if you own the rights to Overwatch, what would be one thing you would do to fix it or make it better, Daniel?
It's so freaking good. I mean, Blizzard is so good about, I see a lot of parallels between their design and good board game design. I would say give me the IP rights to make a board game out of it. That's what I would probably want. But it's pretty good. I know a lot of people complain about the adjustments and characters and metagame. I enjoy it. I would say my thing, give me the rights to make a board game version of it. That would be awesome.
There you go. Well, we try to make a green podcast around here, Daniel. So if anybody who has anything to do with the IP of Overwatch is ever listening, you heard it here first on Getting Geeky with Game Relief, that Daniel would really appreciate you giving that IP over to him in August Games so they can make a board game of it.
That would be quite shocking if I got that phone call.
There you go. There you go. So we'll wait for that now. But right now, we're just trying to get this Treasure Mountain up to 1 million or whatnot. So if somebody's listening, when do they have until to back this great game?
So June 1st, I think it's like at 10 p.m. Pacific time. I would encourage you to get there as soon as possible. Get in there and support. The sooner you provide support, the better momentum, the more likely we unlock the stretch goals. So really quick, to go over the pricing, $55 for the base game. The base game is a lot in the box. I show everything in there. $20 if you want to add the expansion. Again, $20 for an expansion for a board game is a phenomenally great deal. Then we're going to have a metal coin add-on for $25. We just set a metal coin. So if people want to get the metal coins, they can. The stretch goals right now, we're working on the next stretch goal. I think we're going to unlock probably the next day or so is 30% thicker cardboard. I really like the really thick cardboard. It's a premium cost with that. So if we get ourselves at a certain funding level, then we can afford that. Other things, premium cards, getting the really nice poker-coated cards. I'm a big fan of really high-quality cards also. Plastic game insert, I'm sure we'll certainly unlock. These are all things I'm very confident we're going to unlock. We have a social goal of making the turn counter a mine cart rather than a disc. Yeah, those immediate. We have some other ones in the future, like fancier looking barrel bits and everything like that. We're really, really excited, and I really appreciate you having me on your show to talk about the game. And I know we went back and forth and went a lot of side tracks, but the game really is fun, and I love the game, and not just because I wrote it. I've met so many wonderful folks playtesting this game. I have now friendships I've developed over the years, and the fact that my wife and I, now wife, when we were dating, designed a lot of it together, to me makes this game special.
Well, there you go. Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So, minus coming there to your hometown to stock it, or just in case those people from Overwatch are listening, how would people go about finding out about you or getting a hold of this great game? Well, minus other than the Kickstarter and whatnot, how would they go about finding out about you or other games you have coming in the future? And also, how would they go about getting that IP over to you?
Well, honestly, August Games has a Facebook page, www.facebook.com/August Games. It's all one word. It's probably the best way. Honestly, I try to post there on a regular basis. I post a lot of goofy things, prototypes, ideas for games, little things like that. I have a lot of. I'm always designing all the time. I'm not somebody that that relaxes well. To me, relaxing is designing, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's probably the best way. Yeah, or you can email me at dan@augustgames.com.
Yeah, that's what I found. It seems like you do email more than you like Messenger. Maybe not. I don't know.
Oh, I like Messenger a lot too. I'm good, but yeah, emails.
There you go. So awesome. So that's great. So, and you talked about designing all the time. I know we're focused on Treasure Mountain right now, but any dirt you could share with us on future games?
Yeah, I'll tell you. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I have in the hopper. So I have a Dragon Brew, which is a fantasy beer brewing game, which we released last year, which is now sold out. We may do a second printing. We're debating it. Second printings are hard because you have to print a minimum of 500 to 1,000 games, and can we get enough? So anyway, so then there's kind of a spin-off of that. So Dragon Brew was a very heavy Euro game, engine builder. Love it. It's actually probably one of my favorite designs, second only to Treasure Mountain. But the problem with it is it's a very heavy game. So I designed a card version of it that you can play in 10 to 20 minutes with I've had 7-year-olds play, called Dragon Brew Orktoberfest. So with the whole story, because I like a story behind every one of my games, is that the orcs every fall are filled with kind of a blood rage, right? So in order to, and they want to maintain the peace because in the world of Dragon Brew, war has been replaced with the brewing of beer, right? So if you want to resolve a conflict, you have a beer festival. Whoever makes the best beer wins the conflict. So they have a festival called Orktoberfest every Orktober, where they get together and they brew beer. So every player is an orc brewer trying to compete with the other players on the table to win prizes from the judges. And there's things you play about brawl. You can have brawls can break out while you play the game. It's really fun. That actually we'll probably actually kickstart that in the fall. It's actually ready. The artwork is done. The artwork is phenomenal for that game. I'll probably be posting it on August Games page right after this campaign here.
Oh wow! So that's soon upon us this fall.
Yeah. It's basically done. It's been done for a long time. But we wanted to, one thing about we can try to save money and pass that saving. We want to make this game $15 maybe. That's our goal. To make it for $15, you want to try to combine freight. We print our games in China like everybody else. So we're going to combine the printing and freight of this game along with Treasure Mountain so we can keep that low price.
Oh, that's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, and it's a small game. It's not, we're going to print 500 copies. We don't have to spend a humongous amount of money. And the fact that Treasure Mountain is funding as well it is, now we can take the extra money, the profit, right, we earn from Treasure Mountain, and then use that to print Dragon Brew or Oktoberfest, which is, again, loads of fun. Very fast. Designed to be played in a bar. 2019 is again more beer themed games, which it's just a coincidence, is Brew Kingdom. So while Dragon Brew was about having an individual brewery, Dragon Brew is like about individual brewery. Brew Kingdom is an area control game where it's about market share but it's like a fantasy theme where there's pillaging dragons. The gnomes in my original game, Dragon Brew, the gnomes were like the oppressed peasant class. They're every piece of art in the entire game shows the gnomes doing all the work, right? They're the people that are, tending the fields and building the brew, and they make wonderful. And I always felt like it's time for the gnomes to strike back. So in Brew Kingdom, it's an area control game in the midst of a gnome revolution, where a gnome, an automa player, there's another player that's controlled through a series of automa decks, that if the gnomes win, everybody loses. But if the gnomes are defeated and another player wins, then only that player is the winner. So it's this thing that's really fun about the game is you have to work together to keep the gnomes in check, but only one of you can really win. So it's semi-cooperative, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. So I do have to ask this question because I know I asked Jamie Stegmeyer as well because he that viticulture thing that kind of excited me. But me and my family, we don't believe. I know it's out there and whatnot, but we don't believe in drinking or alcohol. But how do you approach that? I know you said 7-year-olds have played your game and whatnot. How's that approached? Do you know?
I mean, it's like, yeah. I mean, it just it's a root beer. I mean, it's fine if it's root beer, right? We don't really.
Yeah, my kids like root beer. I don't care for it, but my kids, you buy a 2-liter root beer, it's gone like in a matter of minutes, I think.
Yeah, I mean, these aren't adult themed games. I mean, the theme is, it doesn't, we don't emphasize alcohol. We don't, you know what I mean? And I get it. And maybe the theme doesn't appeal to everybody, but it's about nonviolence. So I wanted to make a game that didn't have anything, that kind of an area control game, or even Dragon Brew, an engine building game where it's about creating something, right? I mean, there's games like Brew Crafters. I have a different approach. It was more about different ways to win the game. So it's not really like pro beer. It's more about just the fantasy theme of mead and brewing and collecting and building things. And even Brew Kingdom. I mean, you could put any wrapper on the mechanics, but there's something I really like about the non-war aspect, an area control game where it's not really about killing anybody. It's about, about brewing great beer. And you don't actually defeat the gnomes by fighting them. You defeat the gnomes by out-brewing them. You know what I mean? And beating them at all the beer festivals.
Cool. And so if anybody else has bizarre beliefs or whatnot, just imagine they're root beer barrels, I guess.
Yeah, it's so funny. It's funny you mentioned that because I mean, occasionally I've had a couple people say, it's a beer theme. I want to promote alcohol. I get it. I'm totally good with it. I feel the same way about people that don't want to back certain games because it promotes violence, or they don't want to back certain games because they feel like the women are inappropriately dressed in the art. I support all that.
Or maybe they don't like. I know my wife sometimes she talks about it's like sandpaper or whatnot, but maybe some people don't like beards. I don't know.
That's right. They might not like beards. So for me, there are so many games out there in the world. It's cool to not like a game. I have no issue with that. There are some people, I'm sure, that will not like Treasure Mountain. And that's okay. There are a lot of games out there. A lot of games that people love that I don't like. And that's fine. I just choose. I don't think they're bad games. They're just not for me. So yeah, the beer theme. So yeah, it's funny that it's all beer theme. It just happened to be a little kick I was on in this world. I really love the writing in this world. So another game which is really far out there is a legacy game that's working title is Captain's Log. I don't know if we can legally stick with that or not. It's a space-based legacy game where it's a space exploration game. And one thing that I wouldn't say a complaint that I have about legacy games like Pandemic Legacy and Gloomhaven, I feel like it's a little bit on rails a little bit. So I wanted to create a game that was much more of a sandbox environment, but yet still having something to do. There's kind of a balance between, if it's too much sandbox, the games don't have direction, and players sometimes will get bored not knowing what they have to do. But if it's too much on rails, it's boring too, right? So there's got to get this balance too. So I think the innovative part about the game, I would say it's Star Trekian, right? You're a crew, you have away missions on the planet, you also have things in space with consoles. The thing that makes it interesting is the ramifications of your decisions, and it does have a choose your own adventure aspect. There are decisions the players are going to have to make. Now, decisions based on lack of skill because they failed rolls, or skill because of choices they make, probably more so by choices, they're going to have ramifications and change the way the other decks in the game get built. So, for example, this is a very simplified example. Let's say you anger a mob boss on there's a trade station. There's a kind of a quest you go through, and based on your decisions, you can anger this mob boss. If you anger this mob boss, then your encounter decks are then filled with his kind of agents, so that and then you'll get some follow-up missions, so that it changes. You'll end up running across him again as you adventure throughout the game. Now, that's a very simple example. It could be missions, it could be loot, it could be change the way other encounters are made. So that's the thing that's really intriguing to me, is a game that builds itself, and the decisions you make actually have a meaningful impact on the game.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Yeah, these games sound like awesome. So we'll have to go ahead and make sure. I got to go show my wife Treasure Mountain. And yeah, I want to keep an eye on that August Games Facebook page as well. We'll make sure we leave a link in the show notes. We don't want to keep you all night, but we really appreciate you coming on Getting Geeky with Game Relief, Daniel.
Hey, I'm going to be sitting here waiting to watch your back come through. I'm going to sit there and watch it. No pressure.
Oh, boy. There you go. So there you go. That's awesome. Yeah, I'll go ahead, and it probably won't be under my name. She's got an account. I have an account and whatnot, but she likes to kind of keep wraps on them and stuff. So,
well, you can thank her. The game is great. I promise you will love it. If you don't love it, I'll buy it back.
There you go. Is that for everybody or just us? Is that an exclusive?
You and your listeners.
There you go. So you heard it here first on Getting Geeky with Game Relief. Go ahead and back this game. Help them get to $1 million. And for some reason, I don't know why you wouldn't, just listening to the interview and scrolling through the Kickstarter page the whole time I've been interviewing Daniel. I know I'm going to love it or whatnot, but for some reason, we don't. Go ahead and contact him. Let him know you heard him here first on Getting Geeky with Game Relief, and he says I'll buy him back. So you heard it here first.
I absolutely will. No problem. I'm that confident the game is that fun.
Awesome. Well, I'll let you go. I don't want to keep you all night. I got to go hurry and back this so we can get to those stretch goals and whatnot.
Hey, thanks for having me on your show. I had a really nice time chat with you.
Me too.
It's time for Kickstarter Corner. To begin now.
Getting Geeky with Game Relief. Hi, my name is
Little Leaf?
Queen Leaf.
Bat Leaf. You're a Bat Leaf.
No, Queen Leaf.
Okay, what are we doing right now?
This is Game Relief, and that's Princess Leaf.
And what are we doing?
And we're gonna play a game.
We're gonna talk about
Kickstarter.
Corner.
Kickstarter bag.
Yeah, it's really Kickstarter Corner. So go ahead and tell us the pictures that you see in this game. Are you going to help us, Little Leaf?
Mhm.
Okay, go ahead. What's that? What do you see in this picture? Tell us about it.
Monsters.
What kind of monsters?
Goblins.
Yeah, there's goblins.
And dragons.
And dragons.
And gems.
And gems. And
And a cave.
Let me see if you're right. Is there goblins? Let's see here. Is it goblins or is it trolls? I think you're right. I think it might be goblins. Let's see. It's dwarfs. It's actually dwarfs.
And dwarfs.
And what is the game called?
It's called Treasure Mountain.
Treasure Mountain.
Combines worker placement and tile laying to create a unique experience where you can bump other workers off spaces and take the action. They are over their goal.
Yeah, you can bump them if you have a larger beard than them. You're just going to tell us about the pictures on the next one, okay? Well, you'll let you do the first and you tell the pictures. But yeah, I interviewed Daniel about this game.
They have 25 days to go.
Yep, they end on
June 1st, the month I was born.
There you go. And then the next one, yeah, so Treasure Mountain. So go ahead and check that one out. I have Daniel on the show. Well, actually, we just heard about that one. So, yeah, so that's our take on it. I'm looking at the Kickstarter page. But we just talked to him. And then this one is called
Forgotten Fight. A deck building game. You need to choose a team of 3 heroes to prove that you know the best combo. Kind of like the game we played before.
Okay, I don't know what game it
You
is.
pick 3 characters.
Okay, well, whatever that is. You got 49 days to go, going through the 26th of June. And then this one's really cute, Little Leaf. Look at this, Little Leaf. What do you got here?
People in houses.
Well, talk louder. What is? Yeah, the people in houses. What kind of people? I can show you.
Rocket ships.
Rocket ships. Actually, what are you going to help us?
People.
There's different kind of people. Look at all these people. They got these people right here. They're called some kind of ninjas. And they got Emoticorps.
Emotion cops.
What are they?
They're smiley faces.
They're emotion cops.
And they got the glitch.
Glitch.
Okay, I don't know if this is going to work. Are you going to do it with us? Are you too tired? Come help us then.
Not really.
Come help us. Tell us what to talk. Talk normal.
Those are blue people.
Yeah, so they got blue people. They got the glitch, who is what color is the glitch?
Purple.
The glitch is purple.
Yellow happy face.
Yellow happy face. And this game is called
Code World, the miniatures game. Battle with dominoes in 3 dimensions. In this cyborg space themed skirmish.
It's a skirmish miniatures game.
And we're backing this.
There you go. And they got 3 weeks to go, going through the 29th of May. And then, what about this game, Little Leaf? What are they trying? They're trying to get out of. You got to get the first one to get to your escape pod. So you're trying to get out of what kind of ship?
Blow up ship.
Yeah, the ship is blown up, a spaceship. And so you got to be the first one to get there.
The ice cream.
We talked about this before. It's called No Escape. No Escape is a competitive maze building take that game for 2 to 8 players.
Cool beans. And they got 9 days to go. Hopefully they make it.
The people from We're Not Wizards are a backer.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite podcasts, Princess Leaf. And so they go through the 17th of May. And then what about this one? Little Leaf, come back here. What are they doing in this one? Okay, well, look and see. It's an election one.
Election one?
Yeah, and you know about election?
I'm trying to zip thingy.
She's busy zipping things. But Princess Leaf can tell us about
We
it.
talked about it before, and I said you should trick your students if you're a teacher. So they have 11 days to go. They're almost funded, and it's called Election Night. Learn your way to the White House. Game night that teaches math, geography, and civics.
The civics of the electrical college.
Watch how much these kids love it. I wonder how much they love it.
Well, we'd have to watch the video, and so you go ahead and jump over to the Kickstarter video, and you can watch and see how much they love it. And this one, I have the creators on. You'll be able to hear me interview the creator later on this week.
It's called the Swords of Valor card game.
Yeah, the Swords of Valor card game.
The Sword of Valor
The Swords of Valor card game
gives you the opportunity to join us in the sword fight list without all the years of pesky training.
Yeah, so you can go ahead and become a sword fighter without having to do all the training. And they're getting close. They got about 16 days to go. They end on
May 24th. Hopefully they get it funded and be able to have enough money or just bring it back.
There you go. And then we got Swerve.
The connected strategy game. We talked about it before too. Bringing Friday game night back. Simple rules, complex strategic
gameplay.
Zigzag your way to victory, the new classic family game.
They've got about 5 days to go and not looking very shiny. But they end
Hopefully they come back. It's on May 13th.
Yeah, so they end on May 13th. And then what else do we got? We got
The
Exorcism
of the House of Moncton Falls. And it doesn't have the thing anymore.
What thing?
The thing it talks about.
I don't know what she's talking about. Oh, yeah, it doesn't have a description on the top of the page. That's kind of weird. Well, I don't think it had one to begin with. Maybe it did.
It did.
But tell us about it.
The extermination at the House of Moncton Falls is a cooperated worker movements set collecting game themed around the
exorcism
of ghosts taking up residence of a haunted house. Players take turns exploring the manor, searching for tools, unlocking hidden rooms, and using tools to complete a variety of tasks. I think we talked to the creator a while ago.
We did. I interviewed him.
And they're bumping down the age limit to 10. And we'll get a free copy, so we'll be able to tell you how fun it is, maybe.
Yeah, so Princess Leaf interviewed this guy, and it was a pretty fun game. And they were going to make the age limit 10 instead of 11. So she was pretty excited about that.
And I might be able to do an interview by myself.
When?
Maybe.
I don't know. This is news to me. Tell us about this news you got going on.
It's going to be real fun. If Dad has another interview, I'm going to take over for him so he can go rest.
Oh boy. Does anybody want to be interviewed by Princess Leaf? How can they get a hold of us if they want to get an interview by you about their game?
They need to go to our mailing list and then write in. They have to find a new email. We'll send the links to you guys.
They can just email me. What's my email address?
Gamerleaf.com.
Well, that's a website. No. Gamerleaf at
Gamerleaf.com.
Gamerleaf at Gamerleaf.com.
Or also princessleaf at Gamerleaf.go.
I don't think she has an email address yet, people. So don't try it that way.
My new name is Gamerleaf, Little Gamerleaf.
Little Gamerleaf. We've got Little Gamerleaf. How you doing, Little Gamerleaf? How you doing, Little Gamerleaf?
Hi.
Talk to them so they know.
Good.
Good. Tell us about it.
And also, Kitty is in a bag.
Is she in a bag?
So she's sleepy.
There you go.
Dad has an interview coming up, so I'm going to do it for him.
But we don't, but you need to go ahead and send us an email at gamerleaf at gamerleafgo.com if you want to have us interview or you want Princess Leaf, whoever you want to have interview you.
Me. Everybody wants me.
Okay.
So, come, if you have any games you want to interview me about, then I'll be free.
Okay, go ahead with this one.
Okay, we're going to talk a little about a new role-playing game adventure project today. And this is a two-book set called The Book of Dark Secrets. Each of these 2 books will be over 200 pages long and have several short fill-in adventures that range in size from 5 pages to 12 or more pages in length. All the adventures are self-contained and are designed to fill in for those times when an adventure ends sooner than expected. The campaign needs a little spice and flavor, or the characters all
die unexpectedly. The first book,
The Lost Tombs, will be 16 short adventures based on the 16 founding members of a secret society that fights to destroy evil. The second book, the Book of Dark Secrets, is bigger and has 20 to 26 pages, short adventures, and also has an in-adventure with up to 100 NPCs and up to 40 pages of content. Both books are available in digital PDF forms, softcover printed books, and hardcover. Printed books options, including having both books collect in a massive tome, weighting in between 440 through 500 pages. Also, all the adventures contained within our level flexible, meaning that all 36 plus adventures can be played by any PC between levels 1 to 20. Check out the links below or do searches on Kickstarter or Indiegogo for the Book of Dark Secrets.
A quick rundown of the latest list that is scheduled to be creating works in this project. Award-winning writer Bobby
Nash, who is intended, and Verice,
who has an extended and versatile career that ranges from pulp fiction to
comics and novel series focusing on true crime.
And then we got Luis Prado,
is
another versatile talent,
an artist from Brazil that is scheduled to do a full-coloring 8-page comic book for this project.
And then we got Lucas Perlicio, a writer and editor for
Fat Goblin Games, and scheduled to write an 8+ page adventure, and Lee Newman, author of the
Auditorium, is partnering with, let's see here, sorry we had to cut out a malfunction on the equipment, but the Auditorium is partnering with stalwart industry hero Rick Hershey,
who is doing 8 pages of artwork for a great Lovecraftian adventure featuring Migo. Well-known artists Brent Chumley and Terry Pavlett are scheduled to create some full-page color artwork to be used as player handouts, and Brian Thomas has some fun 2-page battle scenes that is very reminiscent to the art and style of the great Hollywood
Jim Holloway.
So if 36 plus short fill-in adventures that plans on using some really talented writers and artists sounds good to you, go check these books out today.
We'll leave the
links in the show notes. So, if you want me to interview you guys, you just sign up to our mailing list and I'll tell you how to do it.
No, send us an email at gamerleaf at gamerleafgo.com. Well, she doesn't have an email address. And we have a giveaway where you can earn one lucky listener in the U.S. will win 8 great games, and 2 people out of the U.S. can win a $25 gift card. They can go where to sign up?
To our mailing list.
Well, our website first, which
then they should sign up for our mailing list.
Where do they go for that?
At GamerLeaf, go Pokemon.
No, GamerLeafGo.com.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay, that's what she meant. So go there and check it out. And then it's time for us to sign off so we can get to bed. But what do we got to do? Get geeky.
Stay geeky and bring others to the geek fold. GamerLeaf out.
GamerLeaf levels up. Tune in next week to see if GamerLeaf's luck holds up.